Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a 2021 Jeep Gladiator with the Eco-Diesel engine. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Gladiator. Check out their inventory link below. They've got this Eco-Diesel Gladiator, and then they have several Wranglers with the Eco-Diesel engine as well. So yeah, check them out. Under the hood of the Eco-Diesel Gladiator, we have a 3-liter turbocharged V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 22 around town, and then 28 on the highway, with power outputs being 260 horsepower and then 442 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Gladiator. So first off, you've got the signature Gladiator hood right here with the 2 little areas you can drop the windshield down onto, and then this to open up the hood. Full LED lights on this particular one, and then you've got the accent lighting there on the side. It's also the turn signal. Fog light just down below, and then you've got the blacked out tow hooks with the signature Jeep front grille. But other than that, there's the front end. Coming around the side here, we've got two 55mm tires wrapped around 18-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And this one's built off of the Overland package, so nothing too crazy happening with the tire, wheel, or suspension setup on the Gladiator. It's still trail rated though, but there's kind of like a better look at the tires. You've got the full white fenders on this particular one, and then notice that you've got little black accenting down there. You've got the Jeep logo, blacked out mirrors, and door handles. And this one has a vinyl decal. It's actually a package you can get on it. Definitely interesting looking. It's a factory option, believe it or not. But other than that, here's the full side view on this particular Gladiator. Let's pop into the bed of the Gladiator. So first off, the payload is 1,212 pounds. You've got a full spray and liner from the factory with the LED lights here in the bed. And yeah, that's pretty much everything for the bed. So see ya. Now going over the rest of the rear, you've got the LED lights here on the back with the Jeep logo there on the center, and then you've got your Eco-Diesel badge, and then you've got the recovery hook right there. Towing capacity is about 6,000 pounds. There are parking sensors on the back of this bumper, and that's all for the rear. Now let's go over the door panel here in the back. So you've got the soft touch here with the stitching just down below, and then here are the seats in the back. So full cloth seats right here. You've got the nice cloth trim there in the center. Got some vents over there with the window controls, and then you have a full power outlet down there with some cup holders, and I'll pop in for just a second. So step in height, it's pretty easy to get in. The headrest is of course down. I'm 5'11", there's tons of headroom. Like, you can be really tall and fit in here. Legroom, a little bit more on the cramped side, but it's not bad by any means. And that's the back of the Overland. Now let's go over the door panel here in the front. So again, you've got more soft touch here with the stitching just down below. Got the door handle up above with the mirror adjustments, door lock and unlock, and then here are the seats in the front. So they say Overland there on them, and then you've got full cloth seats all the way down with your manual adjustments on the side. And then you've got the pedal layout here just down below. Light control up here with the fog lights and the cargo light. You've got the adjustment on the steering wheel, and there's one more look before we pop in. Let's go over the steering wheel here in the Gladiator. So you've got full black leather here with the lighter colored stitching on the center. You've got your cruise control, get your voice command, and then controls for the center stack. Turn signal stock on that side, and then you've got the stock for the windshield wipers on the other side, and that's all for the steering wheel. And here's the center gauge cluster. You've got RPMs on the left side, and the right side you've got the speed, and then you do have that screen there in the center, which you can scroll through a couple different menus with this screen. Pretty straightforward, but we'll just leave it to be a speedo. Oh, and I do want to mention this does have the off-road status right there on the center screen, which is definitely nice when you do take the Gladiator off-roading. Here for the center infotainment system, if we pop into reverse, we've got the backup camera, which does have a zoom function on it, so you can hook up to a trailer. And then this one does have the forward camera, so you've got the trajectory lines that'll turn with the steering wheel. Definitely a nice function, especially if you're going down narrow trails or if you're rock crawling. And as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time's really good. This does come with heated seats and a heated steering wheel, which is nice. I love that it says FWD for the forward camera. Just like you have on like a keyboard for forward. But yeah, you've got all that. This does have the off-road pages, which show similar status to that thing in the center screen, and it's all for the touch screen. Down below here, you've got a bunch of analog controls. You've got analog controls for the radio, climate system, for the heated seats and the heated steering wheel. And then down below here, got that for the screen. That's like your off-road cruise control, parking sensors, stability control, your auto stop start if you want to turn that on or off. Got a 12 volt down here, and then you've got the window controls in the center, and then we've got our media area, and then you've got the 4 auxiliary switches, so if you add any aftermarket parts, just do in that area. Then you've got the shifter here for the 8-speed automatic. It does have a manual shift mode if you do want to shift the gears yourself. And then notice that you've got your drive line selects. You've got your 2-wheel high, your 4-wheel high, your neutral, and then your 4-wheel low. More stuff happening here. So you've got the key holder with the cup holders, your e-brake, center console with the leather on the top, and then you've got storage on the top, and then storage down below with a USB. And then I like how it's like gray here at the top of the dash. And then opening up the glove box, it's a pretty normal glove box with the grab handle there at the top, and that's all. Up here, you've got all the releases here for the Freedom top, which this part you can do just by hand. The other part you have to use tools, but yeah, you can just take this off and definitely a fun experience. And then universal garage door openers. Now that we're done going the interior on this Gladiator Eco-Diesel, let's quickly get into the pricing. So like I said, this one's in the Overland package and it stickers for about $55,000 before any type of market adjustment. That all being said, let's take her out and see how she drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the Gladiator. So visibility over the hood's really good, and that's kind of a benefit where you have the up and down windshield and all that, and your seating position is so high that you can really see everything. There's your visibility through both the mirrors. They do have blind spot monitoring. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear, which is, again, really solid. And that all being said, well, let's set off. Setting off here in the 2021 Gladiator with the Eco-Diesel engine. You guys already know that I love the Eco-Diesel. The torque that you get from this is just perfect. And I feel like this engine was made for the Wrangler and the Gladiator. It's like the perfect pairing with that low end torque and everything. But getting up and moving with the Eco-Diesel, first off, it feels pretty much identical to any other Gladiator from a ride quality perspective. It's still just as bumpy. You still get the same amount of noise and everything like that is unchanged compared to other Gladiators. The biggest difference that you notice right off the bat is you get all this torque from a low end, and it's a huge difference. Whereas other Gladiators, you're really wringing out the engine to get up and moving. With this, you're sitting at just below 2,000 RPMs pretty much the whole time, again, because it has so much torque. And that's a huge benefit with the Eco-Diesel compared to the 3.6 liter V6 that you normally get in the Gladiator. And then obviously in the Wranglers, you can get that turbo 2 liter, but yeah, that still just doesn't have the nearly the same amount of torque as this, so it doesn't drive nearly as nice. And yeah, overall, it's definitely a cool experience. The front end still feels nice and light. It doesn't feel any heavier from a turn-in perspective, so you don't really lose out on anything with that by going to the Eco-Diesel. And of course, we run into traffic, so I'll see you guys in a second. So we are getting up and moving here for just a moment. This is like our partial acceleration. Yeah, again, really good torque with the Eco-Diesel. It's just always impresses me every single time I drive one of these. And now that we're up here, we'll get our full-blown acceleration with the Eco-Diesel and see how it goes. Just like all torque. And that 8-speed automatic's really good at getting it into the power band. Can't talk sometimes. So you can just get up and move. Yeah, really solid from an acceleration standpoint, significantly better than the 3.6 liter V6. Like it's a big difference, and all of it is torque. This has about the same amount of horsepower. It's about 25 horsepower less than the V6, but because of all that extra torque, you really feel a difference. I mean, it's almost 200 pound-feet of torque more. And with the turbocharged nature of this engine, you also have less power loss here at elevation. We're about 4,500 feet, maybe a little bit less here. I think this area is maybe about 4,000 feet. But let's get into setting things up here with the Eco-Diesel Gladiator. So first off, I mean, this Gladiator is just an Overland. I feel like it looks pretty basic on the outside. That thing on the side of it with the vinyl, definitely an interesting touch. Not sure if I'm a fan, but it's unique. It's got that going for it. But this review is more about the engine. What do I think about the engine in the Gladiator? I think that this is the engine to get if you've got the extra money. It is a little bit more compared to a normal Gladiator, several $1,000s for the Eco-Diesel engine. But I think that it's money well spent. The extra torque, the extra fuel economy. I know that diesel sometimes is a little bit more expensive than gas, so the fuel economy kind of cancels out because of the extra cost. But again, you still get better fuel economy, so you get better off-road range. That's what I care more about rather than the money saved. I care about the fact that I get more range on the off-road, and it just drives nicer. Like it just feels so nice, and the sound, you can't go wrong with the diesel sound that you get with this. So yeah, overall, I think if you've got the extra, what is it, 5 grand? I think if you got the extra 5 grand, I definitely think it's worth it. And from an off-roading perspective, the extra torque is always welcome. Now that is gonna sum things up for our video here on this Gladiator Eco-Diesel. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Gladiator. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.